Hi everybody, Adam with FANUC here. Today I want to talk to you briefly about how to turn your Teach Pendant into a customized HMI. It's super nice. Every time you buy a robot, you get a Teach Pendant. So why not use it? On those simple standalone projects where you don't want to spend a lot of money on a third-party touchscreen HMI device. It's just a robot doing some pick and place and you want some general controls. Hey, this thing is a touch screen. It's usable, it's customizable, and it's free. So let's get talking about it. I'm going to explain to you the 4 steps and the 4 things you need. So let's take a look at that. All right, so the 4 things we're going through today. First, you need to download and install either Microsoft SharePoint Designer 2007 or Microsoft Expression Web 4. These are both free. They're online. Google is your friend. Shouldn't be any struggles there. I personally prefer SharePoint Designer 07. I know it's old. I know it's legacy. The newer SharePoints are not compatible, so don't try it. But just old school, I've been using that one forever. I feel like the interface is a little bit simpler. Whereas with Expression Web, I don't know, I feel like they got fancy with it, and sometimes you lose some functionality when you get too fancy. So I prefer Designer, but today we're actually going to be showing it in Expression Web because of compatibility issues with my brand new laptop. I had to use Expression, so you're going to see the one I don't like today. Anyway, get those. Next, you need to download and install the FANUC iPendant controls, and you'll want the user manual. That's the iPendant customization manual. If you're in the Americas, just call up 888 FANUC US. Let them know you want the iPendant customization controls and manual, or call your local FANUC rep. He or she will be happy to talk to you. Of course, if you're overseas, FANUC is everywhere. Call your local guys, they'll help you out. Once you have the softwares, both from Microsoft and FANUC, we're going to build screens, and then we're going to load it into the Teach Pendant. The awesome thing about this, that's free, and that's free. And you already own the Teach Pendant, so why not? So now let's dive into the critical steps here. All right, once you have everything downloaded and installed, the first thing you'll be seeing is, let me actually back this up one. The iPendant controls zip folder that FANUC is going to give you. It has everything in there you need. Of course, there's your executable to get it all installed on your system. But what's nice is when you get that from FANUC, we give you a bunch of examples. So we give you a bunch of STM files showing you how to set up alarm banners, different examples for indicators, how to set up forms, all this great stuff. So you have these nice foundation blocks to start with. Let me open up my Microsoft Web Expression 4. Yours will probably look quite similar to this. Here's some of the example ones that FANUC gives you. Some nice little reset your parts counters and everything that comes along with that. All these push buttons. Here's one that shows status indicators. Are we in cycle? Are we stopped? Just real simple things that you can use. Of course, you can copy and paste them. Here's a nice big alarm banner that you can put across the top of your Teach Pendant screen. You'll see that as you start clicking through these different ActiveX controls, you can start mapping. So this one is a label box. We just call it, the ActiveX label. And what the label is we're mapping, in this case, we're mapping a system variable. And the system variable is alarm if last alarm. So basically, if and when your robot throws an alarm, that alarm code will show up in this box. So you can just take this box, copy and paste it into whatever STM you're using. FANUC also gives you this nice little table here of commonly used things. Push buttons, lamp indicators. There's that label control for, like alarms. Edit boxes for doing register values, all kinds of fun things. It's all right here, and anytime you want to use something, you can just come in here, copy it, and then bring it over somewhere else, paste it, and then resize it, rescale it. So I'm not going to dwell too long on how to build screens because that's between you and Microsoft Expression Web. Get as creative as you want. In this one, I brought in some imagery. This could be renderings of your system. Because I'm going to be working with an LR-Mate, I thought it would be kind of neat to throw an LR-Mate on the screen. Company logos, this and that. So let me just show you a few quick things that I have on mine, and just for a stupid simple example how it's going to work. One thing I did down here, this is one of the edit boxes. ActiveX edit box, and what I'm doing is I'm going to say, okay, this box is going to write to a numeric register. Which register? The data index, register 5. What's it going to look like? It's going to be a normal keypad, yes. And what's going to happen is when the operator touches the Teach Pendant touch screen, a numeric keypad is going to pop up. I could have a full keypad come up with a full QWERTY keyboard. In this case, I just need numeric. Then I can even program a min and a max. I'm going to clamp them between 1 and 100, but that's completely modifiable. You can change it to whatever you want. And then all the fun stuff. How do you want your border to look? Horizontal and vertical alignment. What color do you want this thing? Different fonts supported. We have check conditions, which means you cannot activate or use this button unless, and so I can go through and say, well, if they're not holding down the dead man safety enable, then that button does nothing. Or is the Teach Pendant turned on or not? Do they have to hold the shift key? Or is there certain I/O that I'm looking to monitor? Maybe I want to monitor my digital input number 4 and make sure that that's turned on before they use the button. So these are nice little safety measures and qualifiers to prevent or allow people from entering data when they should or shouldn't, in the middle of a cycle, things like that. So let me back out of here. So again, what I've built here is a numerical entry that's going to register number 5. If you want to see what I'm thinking in advance, I will pull this up. Numerical register number 5 is run speed. How original, right? This is not the most efficient and easy way to change the speed of the robot, but just for fun and just for this video, I want my screen to be able to change the speeds. Another thing that I have on here is a end program command. Now I'm doing this slightly different than actually stopping and aborting a program or issuing a hold via the UOPS. What I'm doing here is I'm going to write to my digital outputs. I'll explain why in a minute. But I'm going to write to DO2, and this button, it can either be momentary, which would be it's sustained, right? It's only going to be pushing the true signal while you're holding it, or it can be a toggle, so it's a true on-off. You press it once, it goes on. You press it again, it goes off. Hence toggle. Of course, style, colors, all that fun stuff. But here's what I'm going to do with it. When somebody pushes that button, it's going to turn on digital output 2. Let me show you why. If I go in and look, of course, by the way, I've already pre-mapped all this stuff. So if I look, digital output 2, I named it the end program. Always comment your code. I've got a simple little program here. And I've built just 4 points in a semi-infinite loop. All right, here's label 1. Here's where I set the speed, register 5, which this guy's writing to. 4 positions, just 1, 2, 3, 4, comes back, kind of makes a circle loop-de-loop. But line 8 here says, if digital output 2 is off, jump back to label 1. So if nobody is pressing that button, I'm just going to sit here and run production all day. Run, 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 run. If somebody, while I'm running, hits that button, it's going to set the signal to be on. So when I get down here, it'll say, oh, hey, digital output 2 is on. I need to go to my next lines of code. Well, the next line of code is to hurry up and kick it right back off, because keep in mind, this is a toggle button. You can either turn it on and off with your finger, or you can turn it on and off in the code. So obviously if somebody touched it to turn it on, I want to turn it back off, and then I just end the program. So that's a real simple logic, a real simple handshake between your custom screen and your code, that while you're running production, I don't want to just stop in the middle of a cycle. I want to finish my cycle, turn off the IO, end it. So there's my simple program. Another thing I like to do in my HMIs is a start button. Tons of ways to skin this cat, guys, but probably the most used way for me is I set a command button that writes a value of a 1 to the system variable shell work custom start. And why am I writing there? Well, you've probably seen in my other videos. If you haven't, go watch them. But in my program select, I like to select programs using shell work. So if this program is looking at shell work custom name circle, which is my circle program, then when somebody clicks the shell work custom start, boom, starts running production right from your Teach Pendant. So now you don't have to go over and hit the green button on the operator panel or send a signal from somewhere else. You can actually start and stop your robot from your custom HMI. All right, so we've talked about Microsoft Web Expression. We talked about the manuals. Here's a real basic screen. We have to get this screen into this Teach Pendant so we can use it. So the first thing I want to show you, you may or may not have known, but your Teach Pendant has web browsing capabilities. That should be inferred by now. But down here, browser, menu, next page, browser. You'll see right now there are no other options. There's no arrows, there's nothing. There's just browser. If I click on it, it actually goes to the robot home page. All right, a lot of fun stuff in here with your comment tools and robot status. But this is the robot's home page. You can actually access this from your laptop if you're plugged into the robot and you just type in the robot's IP address. You'll see this on your PC. But you can also see the web page from the robot. So keep in mind, menu, next, browser. This is going to be our friend in just a minute. All right. So let me open up RoboGuide here. Okay. What you need to do is you need to open up your, well, in RoboGuide, you open up your tools folder because I need to get the files from Web Expression into RoboGuide. But in real life, you will just put them on a flash drive. So grab a USB and put your files on. So here's what it's going to look like. If I'm in RoboGuide, Robot 1, UT1, I've been doing some work earlier, I jumped the gun. UT1 this is my pretend USB stick. All right, so I need to get the files from my documents, my websites. So you'll see on your computer, you know, your local documents websites. The website that I've been building, I named it Atom Example. And then I also put in some imagery. I put in a FANUC logo, and I put in this LR Mate image, okay? So in here, on your flash drive or in your virtual world, you need the STM that you built, and you need any of the imagery that you built, copy. So this, in real life, would be put on a USB, but here we go. So now in my virtual world, I have these files on a pretend USB that's plugged into my pretend Teach Pendant. So that's good. So now I'll pull up my pretend Teach Pendant. Menu, File, and I want to browse to my USB that's on the Teach Pendant, and I want to look at all the files, so I'm going to press Enter. Here's all the files. There's my STM that I built, there's my logo and my robot image. So now that I've found them, let's put them on the robot. Go to this page, next page, and you want to copy the files. So Adam example, I want to copy from the USB on the Teach Pendant to my FROM. So I just say choice FROM, do copy, and you'll see that it gives me a little love note, copied to FR Adam example. Awesome. Let's do it again. I need the FANUC logo, copy to my FROM, do copy. All right, it was copied. Next, LR image, copy, FROM, do copy, and there it is. All right, so now all three files are in my FROM, so that's the first step. Next step, I want to go Menu, Next, System, Variables. And once in my System Variables, I want to scroll all the way down, quite a ways down to this TX_screen area. Once I'm in there, I want to open up. The first screen you cannot use. That is the default Fanuc Browser that we just looked at a minute ago. So don't worry about that one. But you have 9 more that you can play with, 2 through 10. So by default, you can do 9 different screens. It is expandable to more if you need it. Yes, start with 1 and see how you do. So let's open that up. What I need to do is I need to give it a destination. Where does this variable need to go look to find the screen that I built? So what I'm going to do is say /FROM/ and then the name of the file, which was Adam example.stm. Perfect. So now I've given it a directory. Make sure you do / and then the FR / and then the exact name of your STM as it is. And then what do you want the screen called as you look at it on the Teach Pendant? I'm just going to call mine Run Screen. All right. So now we have the directory set. We have a name set. Check this out. Right now in real time, just that easy. If we go Menu, Next, look at my browser. It now has one of the little arrows to say, hey, you've got options in here, bud. Come down, look at my options. I can go to the default browser, or I can go to this new thing called Run Screen. Let's check it out. Boom. I have now turned my FANUC Teach Pendant into a nice little HMI. This is residing on the Teach Pendant. Okay. Before we jump into using it, I want to show you another neat trick. Once your screen is up, I like to set a quick access menu favorite. So with it open, press Menu, and then see down here where it says Menu Favorites, press and hold to set. I'm just going to press and hold on this one and override it. Press and hold, boom. Now it says Run Screen. So if you're over here, you're in here, you're looking at your code, you're doing whatever, just press Menu, Run Screen. and boom, you're right there. So it's a nice little handy quick jump to always make sure you get right there. So let's run this robot. Let's have some fun. Let's test it and see how it works. Gonna get this thing running in a circle here. All right. So he's going around in his nice little infinite loop that we have. If a user comes over and clicks on that, min value, max value, current value, so they could crank this bad boy up to 100, and this robot will start running at 100. Come down here, put in a 5. Now we got a nice slow robot. All right, so that's working good. If you want to look at it in real time, I can look at my data. There's my data. Run speed is a 5. All right, so you see it passing through. You know, go here and put in a 20 or something like that, and I can watch it update right here. It's at 20. Robot comes around, and whoop, a little bit faster now. So that's cool. So we can see that in real time. And now, like I said, I want to end this program. All I'm going to do is, while this robot's going, I'm going to slow it down a little so you can see a better effect. As it's going, I'm going to say, hey, I want you to be done after the next cycle. You see me hit the toggle, robot comes around, stops running production, releases the toggle. It's just that easy. That way you can see, you know, that the command has been sent and that it was received. So there you have it, my friends. Not hard at all. This is free. This is fun. Obviously some limitations, you know, but I think they look good. I think they look simple. What do you expect for free? So get yourself a web expression or a SharePoint. Get yourself the FANUC tools and go ahead and get yourself set up. And of course, from your robot, when you take your file backups, you can import STMs back into Expression, modify them, bring them back in. And if you want to bring them back in and you know, change them offline and bring them back in and install them, just file, put in the new one, copy. Where am I copying it to? And it'll ask you, are you sure you want to overwrite? Of course I want to overwrite. You'll hit yes. But then the important thing is when you go in here, you got to click this refresh button. So if you made changes, if you made some kind of edits and totally moved things around or changed variables or whatever, just make sure that you overwrite what's in the FROM and that when you come back in, you refresh it to clear the cache. All right, guys, I hope that helps. Get after it and have fun coding.